Hi, I'm Britt. I'm a kettlebell coach and former professional kettlebell sport athlete. I'm excited to be answering your questions today. I have 8 great questions that I'm going to spend some time diving into. Do you lose weight for a kettlebell sport competition? Do you need to lose weight for a kettlebell sport competition? I don't believe that you need to lose weight for a kettlebell sport competition. For regular run-of-the-mill competitions where there weren't a ton of people, I wouldn't focus on what weight class I was going to be in. I would just focus on doing my best performance. And whatever body weight I was at to do that, that was fine. So I don't think that you need to lose weight unless you're qualifying for a specific competition where only a certain number of lifters per weight class are able to go. For women competing in biathlon, what is the ratio of jerk to snatch that one should do? If I do my maximal effort on jerks, I'm exhausted for snatch. When it comes to competing in biathlon, how many reps you aim for in competition is dependent on your training. If you're exhausted from a jerk set and you're not able to complete your snatch set the way that you would like, perhaps you need to adjust the number of jerk repetitions that you're aiming for or adjust your training to account for that. You can also try training jerk and snatch on the same day in your training cycle so that you're prepared to do snatches when you're already fatigued from jerks. Do you have any recommended stretches or GPP exercises for kettlebell sport? When it comes to stretching and GPP for kettlebell sport, I believe it's really important to focus on balancing out the high number of repetitions that you're doing in sport and to balance out the ranges of motion that you're using. Because kettlebell sport is so repetitive, it's important to be doing things in your general training that are going to help you counter that repetitive motion. So as far as GPP, I believe it's important to do pulling exercises that strengthen the upper back and help you with maintaining good posture, because it's easy to get into a bit of a kyphotic posture or your upper back being rounded due to sitting in the rack position. So important to maintain the strength of the upper back as well as the mobility, flexibility of your upper back. And that's not just for improving your actual lifts, but even, again, to help you balance out the amount of time that you're sitting in the rack position with a rounded upper back. It's good to make sure that you stretch and open up the chest and are able to extend your upper back as well. Ultimately, I think the best stretching and GPP routine is going to be individualized and is going to be tailored to each person's needs. Everyone is different in what they need for strengthening and for mobilizing their body. How many times a week do you train? When I was training for kettlebell sport, I was training kettlebell sport 3 times a week. On the other days of the week, I might do some accessory training or recovery, stretching, yoga, things like that. These days, I train a lot less than I used to. I no longer compete in kettlebell sport. However, I do still love to lift kettlebells. But I've found that I get a lot better results from training less, just 1 or 2 times a week, than doing as much as I was doing when I was competing heavily. And by better results, I mean better body composition, better energy, better balance in my life. So these days, just 1 to 2 kettlebell workouts a week, and I like to stay active the rest of the time. So that may include walking, swimming, biking, or just doing some body weight exercise. I need to do aerobic exercise before or after kettlebell sport training. If your kettlebell sport training is challenging you aerobically, you may not need to do any other aerobic exercise. It may be plenty to help you improve. If you find that you need additional aerobic training, you could opt to do it before or after your kettlebell sport training, or you could even do it on off days. It's less important how and when you do the aerobic exercise and more important that you actually do it. How many reps of long cycle, snatch, and jerk could you do when you first started? And what weight kettlebell did you use? When I first started competing, I began with 14 kg biathlon, so single bell biathlon. Jerks, I was pretty good from the get-go. As far as snatches go, I was not great. I probably hit 120 or 140 snatches in my first competition. I know that you're famous for 24 kg long cycle. And how often do you use a 24 kg kettlebell in training? When I was competing in kettlebell sport, I would use 24 kg bells towards the end of my training cycle. So only in the last 4 weeks or so would I use my actual competition weight. As far as these days, when I train, I actually rarely ever use a 24 kg kettlebell. I find that I get better results using lighter kettlebells rather than pushing myself to lift heavy. Every now and again, I like to lift heavy, but for the most part, these days I usually use a 8 to 12 kg kettlebell for general strength training exercises. People are going to be shocked by that one. Do you have anything to be careful about with your eating habits, lifestyle, or something else in your daily life? When I was competing, I really had to make sure to reserve my energy for my training, especially when I was lifting really heavy kettlebells. If I taxed myself too much on days around my training sets just wouldn't go well. As far as diet, I mostly made sure that I just ate enough to supply myself with the energy I needed to train. These days, I'm not competing in kettlebell sport anymore, yet I still want to have enough energy to work out or to move daily and to do the things that I need to do. So I do make sure to eat as healthfully as I can, eating unprocessed foods. However, I also like to eat chocolate, peanut butter, and indulge every once in a while. So I think it's good to find a balance and to find moderation with regards to diet. I also do my best to get good quality sleep. Sleep is really important, and try to be mindful of my stress levels and being sure that I do activities to help lower my stress levels like breathing and meditation. Do you think women can get a good physique from only training kettlebell sport? And if not, what other types of training should be done and how many times per week? The answer to this question is, of course, completely dependent on what you consider a good physique. But I do think that you can build muscle and you can improve your body composition just by doing kettlebell sport training. That being said, I don't think it's the best way to focus on your physique because kettlebell sport is more based on performance, and performance and physique may not always align. Personally, what I've found to give really good results in the form of better strength, enhanced fitness, improved body awareness, and better body composition is kettlebell solo, which is a foundational style of kettlebell training that I do 1 to 2 days a week, and all you need is one light kettlebell to do it. So that's what I would recommend if you're looking for something to improve your physique with kettlebells.